course, he's fighting.
Oh, it didn't take long.
Oh, it didn't take long for Butterbean.
Eric Esch, better known to the world as Butterbean, was a walking middle finger to every fitness magazine and training manual ever written.
Oh, right, he goes down. Yeah. Tremendous right by Butterbean.
He had no shredded abs.
Well, it's wild now, folks, and there goes Doug Norris.
And no sculpted frame.
Can nail him a little bit like Funmaker, but Talon just can't.
Just pure mass, bad intentions, and fists that detonated on impact.
In their debut, Paul Springer can probably give it, but can he take it?
He didn't outbox people, he erased them.
Ripping shots by Butterbean. And it started with the body shot with the right hand.
Tonight, we're diving into the knockouts that proved one unforgettable truth. When your hands carry this much violence, the scale doesn't matter. These are Butterbean's most devastating finishes. In the year 2000, George Lindberger walked into the ring looking like he'd been chiseled out of stone. He had thick arms, a wide back, and a barrel chest. This was a man built to hurt people for a living, as every step he took carried menace. He had the posture of someone who spent his entire life in the gym, carving muscle with discipline and pain. But then, there was Butterbean, round, heavy, and unapologetic. He looked like the guy who never met a treadmill and had absolutely no intention of starting tonight. On paper, it shouldn't have been close, but then the bell rang and everyone was shocked.
People do that for a couple rounds, and then ultimately, of course, he's fighting.
Oh, it didn't take long. Oh, it didn't take long for Butterbean on the floor. I don't think he's with us. That's it. He's out.
On his feet, he's out.
I have.
That one punch was all it took. One punch.
Butterbean still going after.
Still wants to beat him.
He's in trouble already. So the first punch,
Trying to
well, the
stick that
second
jab on
punch.
him. There's that right to the body, and the left hook that landed flush on the jaw.
Oh, that was a very wicked punch, and he seriously damaged if he continued against Butterbean
There it
tonight.
is again. No legs underneath. His head bangs against the...
In just 20 seconds, Butterbean proved that going to the gym regularly was different than real-world fighting, and he was really good at it, even with Big Macs and soda to fuel his violence. Just like Lindberger, Ken Wood stepped into the ring carrying every physical advantage you're taught to respect. He was taller, leaner, and carved with the kind of body that tells you the weight room was his second home. He had long limbs, tight muscle, and the look of an athlete built for rounds, movement, and control. On paper, he was everything Butterbean wasn't supposed to be able to handle. Butterbean, meanwhile, waddled in looking like comfort was his entire training philosophy. Soft around the edges and unimpressive at first glance. But once again, appearances lied, and the ring was about to remind everyone why.
I think he wants to survive, and he's got a little pride. He wants to try to win.
Butterbean, a huge weight advantage, approximately 113-pound weight advantage. Approximately 113-pound weight advantage.
That makes a big difference.
Every punch, you have to feel the... Mix it up a little bit. I'm not sure Woods is in such a big hurry to do that. Good right to the midsection. Good left jab by Butterbean. Woods comes back with a left.
Oh, he's bobbing and weaving. He's doing good.
Good left jab by Woods. And he's ducking away from Butterbean a little bit more now. He's figuring him out a little bit. This is a 4-rounder, super heavyweight fight for the IBA title.
Well, I'm sure his strategy is to try to keep away, keep his jab out there, and keep Butterbean off of him. He's having a little success, not a whole lot, but he's doing okay so far. Butterbean's landing some good punches, though.
Yeah, good right.
I think he can take you out with either one.
Oh, good left hook.
He got a running start on that one.
Woods desperately trying. He's not exactly bearing in on him. Ooh, good right. Comes back with the left. All right, round 2. This IBA super lightweight champion, or heavyweight championship, excuse me. Butterbean took the first round rather handily. And he scores with the left.
He's kind of surprising me. He's trying to sidestep there, get the angle to punch. But he needs to be more
Woods just
aggressive.
scores off a couple of combinations. Woods making a pretty good showing right here. Look at this. And the mouthpiece comes out. There's Woods with a good right. Well, Woods doesn't care about Butterbean's popularity. Not tonight, anyway. Oh, from right, he goes down. Tremendous right by Butterbean. Whoa. Tremendous right.
He hit his head on the mat very hard. Oh
Kenny
my.
Woods. Look at it from 3 different angles. Look at that. The left chin, left side of the chin. He went down.
Overhand right.
Look at this.
Right over the top, right on the chin.
Oh, and his head went smashing to the canvas as well. Look at this angle, best angle of the 3. Watch this. Lights out. Tremendous power from the 333-pounder. Butterbean. Look at it from 3 different angles. Look at that. The left chin.
It didn't even take 2 full rounds for Butterbean to erase Ken as one heavy exchange, one mistake, and Woods learned the same brutal truth so many did before him. That definition doesn't protect you when mass comes at you with malicious intent. When Butterbean fought Doug Norris in 1995, Doug had everything going for him. He had the height, the athletic build, and the confidence of a man who believed this was his moment under the bright lights. He looked the part, moved like a real heavyweight, and checked every box people swear matters in a fight. But heavyweight brawling doesn't follow neat rules or gym logic. It rewards chaos, timing, and raw violence. And once Butterbean started throwing his hands with bad intentions, all those advantages stopped meaning much at all.
Before being best fights all the way through, so he would fight for him into a folk hero because the powers could be limitless. The Butterbean, he would tie through the ring ropes 5 pounds, a very scary sight.
I guess in Butterbean's first professional fight, TKO in the 4th round.
And despite all the jokes in the big
Comment on that, I'm really not. Right. Really did become
Butterbean, the nickname, and going all over those people raw.
round 1. In fact, he's landing anytime he feels like. Nice job by Doug Norris here in round 1. Oh, that time, Doug Norris got his head in the zone. Butterbean coming forward with some good shots.
And you're seeing some tough man windmilling by Butterbean. He still has that.
He's getting nailed, though, by Norris.
That's not his best strategy.
And I got to tell you, folks, your box, Ron Katz the match. We're all going to go in one fell swoop.
Well, as Butterbean was windmilling, watch the punches from the side. This is what you can't do in the pros that you can do in the tough man. And Butterbean pays, he's that
Possible. All right, we're heading into round a very competitive, and just tuning in, Eric Butterbean Esch is a man who there's the punches.
To him a 4th round TKO. And you see a reason why. He'll outbox him, but then he'll get popped.
They clashed heads, and that's what hurt Doug Norris. I was joking, but that was the problem. Well, it's wild now, folks, and there goes Doug Norris. Plugged with him. He knows that now. It's over.
Of all the previous sins of the fight, Bean winds up Eric Esch. He doesn't even like his own name mentioned. He said, I don't even like to think of myself as Eric Esch.
In just 2 rounds, Norris's fight plans, his rhythm, and maybe even his belief system were reconstructed by the sheer force of Esch's power. But this wasn't the first or final time this burger-eating demon conquered some of the world's scariest men. One big guy at a time, they kept falling like a house of cards. So when Kevin Talon stepped into the ring against Butterbean in 1999, nobody expected this one to end in a blink. Talon didn't disappoint. He survived, endured, and fought through 3 punishing rounds against a man whose fists seemed powered by pure momentum and bad intentions. But the real story wasn't speed or technique. It was weight, the weight behind every swing, the relentless forward march of Butterbean's pressure, and round by round, Talon's defenses eroded, his gas tank drained, and the quiet cracks in his resolve grew wider until survival became the only goal.
He's a gutsy guy. He can punch a little bit to do his thing, which is to entertain. And on September the 18th, he scored a 3rd round deuce. Last year in Boise, Idaho, a 4-round decision again. Was Kenny Keene fought in the main event. Where's the name Butterbean come from? You look at his big chins, and he was over the weight.
Talon is a guy who had a big period from 85 to 97, 12 after having turned pro in 85. The 10th by Benjamin Baker. Yeah, you got to get guys that are not real gifted.
Was more than willing to mix it up with Butterbean. And
if you need anything else, a decision to Andre Crowder, a 6-round decision. One of them against Talon.
And Butterbean, a little head movement. Right hand of his own.
They're going to act like Ali.
Come to the end of round number 1. Butterbean in control. Some counterpunching of his own. Butterbean missing with the right hand, scoring with a left and a right as Talon won. And Kevin Talon, and you see that Butterbean thinks so.
I mean, Butterbean will play key jobs to be in the team, to, you know, promote himself.
But Mitchell Rose did back in 1995 for New York.
Not that we want to be too critical. I see Butterbean putting his hands behind the guy. Obviously, he wants to keep his hands free. He wants to.
Do they sometimes get a little bit overlooked? Is he maybe a little bit?
He's had all these fights. Let's face it. He's 40. What's he? 40. How many fights does he have?
Well, Talon just got knocked, and Butterbean can knock out, and he sends Talon down here in the Butterbean 0-inch cold with the count.
Like I was saying earlier, he's got. You do learn, and there are little subtle things he does. He slipped, do those things real well without.
Clean off the mouthpiece of Talon, who is Butterbean, and control in this 4-round to pound the overmatched Talon. 3, 4, 7. Remember, under the unified rules, you cannot be saved by the bell. The round does come to an end.
Listen, don't stay in front of him.
That you do, we talked about giving him credit. He gets himself into ring. He switches to the body, goes back up to the head. That's if he stays on him. There again, as he's going down, he's being. No, that's not true. That is not.
Yeah,
he's calm. He doesn't get excited in there with this. Why? Not because he's not in shape, because he would get so better than that.
Well, as you know, the guys, and you know, they're always asking about Butterbean with Butterbean, and it's like, no, it's just not that easy. Basketball. It's not that easy.
I mean, look at him to look back on those things. Mark Gastineau, they had him before the guy who was just even close to it. Because he's a football player, doesn't mean that he's able to go in there and add Too Tall Jones, the great defensive lineman from the Dallas Cowboys.
He gets batted around by Butterbean.
He's pretty well, even though of the wide variety beneath. He knows if he misses the head.
You know, there had been some talk about Butterbean. I don't think Shaq with $100 million for the step in the ring and would punch, but some skills.
Yeah, I mean, again, Shaquille O'Neal would beat him because he's a bigger guy. He's a big, strong guy. It's a whole different psyche.
They think he's Michael Jordan at this point.
Ending is because Butterbean's punches obviously are wide, so a lot of time Talon does. Butterbean's picking him. Got a guy in front of him who's covering up, so he brings the uppercut up. Try to
the opponent in front of him can nail him a little bit, like Funmaker, and Butterbean finishes him off here in round number 3. So Butterbean picks up his 32nd stop for the 2nd consecutive fight.
You just want to take a quick look at him.
The fan favorite, Butterbean, goes on. Congratulations for taking. We'll take a look at the knockouts that stop.
Be the aggressive. The right hand there is the big punch. He followed the left hook, so instead of a job. He's leaning forward, who's covered up. He brings the uppercut up, and then he goes up top.
By round 3, the outcome was clear as day as every jab, crushing hook, and heavy step Butterbean drove forward spelled the inevitable. No matter how much endurance or heart, Talon showed it could only delay what was coming, never stop it. In 1995, Paul Springer marched straight into the fire, and you can't help but wonder why he chose this fight in the first place. Yes, he won the stare down, and yes, he was a powerlifting champion with strength to spare. He looked fearless, solid, and convinced that raw power alone would be enough. But boxing isn't about who can shove harder in the clinch or glare longer before the bell. Like so many debuting fighters, Springer brought plenty of confidence into the ring. The real question was simpler and far more dangerous. When Butterbean decided to answer back, could Springer handle what came flying at him?
At 420 and had to go on a Butterbean diet to make the weight, and it took him 2 weeks, and he did. And he has Paul Springer coming right at him. Why is Springer fighting this fight? I think he won the Butterbean look-alike contest, and he is an APF National Powerlifting Champion.
And he's trying to lift Butterbean right now. I think you can see all those Butterbeans right around the midsection of Esch. There is time. There's a little warning from Toby Gibson about some of the pushing tactics that Paul Springer's using. You know, like most in their debut, Paul Springer can probably give it, but can he take it?
Well, Butterbean used to the 1-minute pace of the tough man contests. And he just about lifted Paul Springer off the canvas, and this one is stopped right away. And Paul Springer with his post-fight comment, and Eric Butterbean Esch, who is just 8 fights now in a professional career, trying to make the grade from tough man. He's at 317.
Springer walked in, overflowing with bravado, but walked out 47 seconds later with his confidence shattered as Butterbean brutally brought him back to reality. Butterbean never looked like a nightmare walking toward you. He was fluffy, round, and almost cutesy in a way that made people underestimate him before the bell ever rang. He didn't have the sculpted muscles or the classic heavyweight silhouette, but once the fight started, that harmless image evaporated. Underneath the soft exterior was an absolute beast who was relentless, heavy-handed, and violent in the purest heavyweight sense. Every punch he threw carried mass, every step came with pressure, and every second in front of him was a gamble with consciousness. Butterbean didn't need to look scary. He was scary, and the ring made sure everyone learned that lesson the hard way. So those were the nights Butterbean tore through muscle-bound giants and rewrote what a knockout artist was supposed to look like. Was he an underrated cult legend, or simply a larger-than-life showman who understood the spectacle better than anyone else? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip through combat sports history, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and come back for the next story.